Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This time we are reviewing Wolverine X-Force version, black suit. Let me start off by saying that something happened to this figure where he's amazing, that the joints, the ability to pose him is just off the freaking hook here. But it is a little loose for mine, and I know that's not the case for everybody because my buddy also ordered one from the same place and his is fine. So mine is a tiny bit loose, so there is going to be a part 2 to this video because I ordered a liquid, Kiki's loose joint liquid, to try and stiffen that up. But I think this is the most fun I've had with a figure. Just the ability to pose them is just nuts. It's nuts. That's not to say that it doesn't have some faults here though, because I do find some faults, especially with the price and what you get. But let's start off here with his head sculpt number 1. It's got short ears, which I like a little bit better than the long ears, but I can take it either way. I do appreciate the lines of detail on his body, that it's not just plain, there is some texture. The MAFEX Deadpool that I reviewed just recently, I felt like it was a little too plain for me. This one has more texture and I appreciate that. This head sculpt though, it seemed to have taken the spot of this one that's on the box. He has more of a grin there. I don't know if I like the grin as much as the one that we got, so I'm happy about that. Well, what do you guys think? This is my favorite though, probably. I always like the ones where they're scowling. So this is head sculpt number 2. I also appreciate the subtle lines of detail on his mask. I feel like those things sometimes are missing from some of the MAFEX, but I really like this, and I hope they keep doing it for all the figures. If you look carefully though, you can see some texture in his ears. I really like that. I almost wish they put a little bit more of that throughout his body. I think it would elevate it even more. We'll talk about articulation later, but he articulates so well, but it does leave these little joints kind of exposed, which they blend in for the most part, but sometimes they don't. I can live with it though. Head sculpt number 3. Actually, you know what? This is my favorite. Part number 2 and number 3 were close, but this is my favorite. I like this a lot. You can see a little bit of texture on that as well, the lines of detail. I really like this. So let's talk about his hands now. You only get a few of them, and the first one are his standard punching hands, which every action figure has. They look nice too. They're not highly detailed, but they do the job. You can see the line on his glove there. I'm not sure that I love that. I feel like that's the way it got molded, the plastic, but I'm okay with it. The joints at the wrist allow for some really great articulation though, really nicely. His second pair of hands, they're more of a relaxed pair of hands, which I feel like almost every character has, as well as the punching hands. When they make a figure and it has those lines of details where there should be detail, like some gloves like this, I think it elevates the figure so much. The only thing I would like more is if it had more shading in the gloves and it wasn't just straight black. Like if it had hints of gray or something, or just, I don't know, I think that would look better. Some dry brushing on it. This is his claws are more of the rounded claws, which I actually like better. But I also like the straight ones too. So, I mean, it's Wolverine. I like anything Wolverine is in. He's one of my favorite characters, and I'm sure he's some of your favorites too, right? I do feel like with this character, just like the Deadpool one, you have to be really careful with their hands because they tend to pop out when you don't want them to pop out and you're busy posing them. They are going to pop out on you every once in a while. He can look up that much. His peg on his neck there makes it so that he can look up, he can look down, he can look side, he can look everywhere. There is hardly any limitation on him. He can look to the side like that. It's just incredible what he can do. The amount of fun you can have posing this character is off the charts. It's the most fun I've had in a long time, really. And I love my Mezco figures. I'm still going to be a Mezco guy, like 100%, I think. But these figures do move in such a way that those can't do. But they do get close. But these are at another level, I think. Let me go into detail again about the shoulder. So it doesn't hinder any of these poses. It doesn't hinder any of his movements. But there is one little spot where if you put his shoulder there, it just the weight cannot be sustained. So I'm hoping that the liquid will help, and I'll make a video about my experience with that. I am not a long time reviewer slash collector. I'm fairly new at this, but I dove into this like head first. I mean, I've collected so many figures over the last 6 months. It's crazy. It's kind of scary how much I've spent on this. But I love these figures. I'm gonna display them. I'm gonna photograph them, and this Wolverine is gonna be at the top of my list of who I'm gonna photograph first because it's just that much fun to pose them. That much fun, seriously. So you toy photographers out there, you know that you need to prop them up, right? Him having the joints that he's got, and especially having a black suit, will make it easy for me to hide wires inside him and have him propped up. So that helps me a lot, actually. He can do the splits about that much, which isn't impressive, but it's okay. His knee articulation is really great, though. But what I really like about this figure is that not only can he achieve these poses, but he can actually sustain his center of gravity so that you actually don't need to use wires a lot of the times. I mean, you will still need to use them for the more dynamic poses, but just like the poses, Wolverine poses, he can achieve those without anything holding him up because his center of gravity is just so great, like better than any figure I've played with. So he can arch back that much, which is pretty good, and he can go forward about that much, which is really good. So he's also got some really nice toe articulation, which seems kind of trivial, but when you're taking photos of these toys, every little detail counts, and so if he's got it, that's great. I feel like the MAFEX and the Figuarts only play nice with each other and don't exactly scale up to NECA's or McFarlane's. This just looks really off to me, even though Wolverine is supposed to be a short one. This to me is a little interesting because here he is compared to my favorite Wolverine, which I think is where you should put your money, despite me really liking the MAFEX version. I'll explain later. But here he is next to him. Doesn't the Mezco he's a tiny bit taller, sure, but he looks beefier too, doesn't he? So him being beefier, I feel like makes him be able to play well with NECA's and other brands. Maybe not the McFarlane's, but which one do you like better? Of course, I have the old school mask on the Mezco one, but he's got a ton of other masks. So while I'm showing you all the super cool details about him, all these nice little macro shots so you can see every little thing about this character, this figure, to see if you want to put your hard-earned money into him, because some people have all the money in the world and they can buy all the toys they want, and that's cool for you. You are probably going to get this figure. So there's other people that maybe don't have the money to buy every single character, right? So you really have to pick and choose which one you want to buy. This character, this figure costs upwards of $100, and I have a hard time justifying that he's worth that much because he only comes with a few heads, a few hands, and not much else. In fact, when you look at him in the box, it looks kind of bare to the left, and it looks weird to have it be that bare. So the way he's detailed isn't exactly my favorite. I like it though. I like the Mezco's better. I don't think that's I'm hiding that in any way, but the cost of this is $100, and you can get the Mezco Wolverine for $112 on Amazon right now. And he comes with like so many things, and I don't know. I have a hard time thinking somebody should get this over that, just because he seems to articulate really well. But of course that means a lot because the more he articulates, the more fun you'll have with him. He does have this weird exaggeration in his body, his back there. I think that's a little too big. You tell me what you think. Doesn't it kind of stick out a little bit? I didn't pay full price for him though. I bought him from Japan. So I'll tell you where, and if you want to know more, you can ask me, because there is such a way to buy these figures from Japan and have them shipped to you. And yes, shipping does cost quite a bit, but you can get that shipping cost to be down if you're willing to order more than a few figures, like 3 or 4 or 5 at a time. The shipping costs go down. So I think you'll end up paying about $6-7 a figure, but I mean, considering you'll save about $30 to $35-40 per figure, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And that's what I did. I got him from Japan. So if you were to buy him from a Big Bad Toy Store or any other place, he will cost you $95. So if you buy him on Entertainment Earth, good luck with that, because you can never get anything there. They're always sold out. Okay, so when I ordered Wolverine from Plaza Japan, he was not $77.57. He was about $71. Add about $8 in shipping, and he came out to like $79-80. That's a little bit of a savings, which is great, but there does come with some risks. If you want to return them for whatever reason, you have to pay for shipping back, and that sucks. And considering mine had a little bit of a loose joint, well, it's a risk. You can get them from other stores close by. This is from Toy Arena, 110. Amazon, 105. That's a lot. I don't know. And then Big Bad Toy Store, 95. So in conclusion, you should buy him if you're just decided you're gonna buy him. You're gonna buy him anyway. If you need to have him, get him. But I don't know. I really want you to consider the Mezco version. I think that's got more to offer. Thanks. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. That means a lot to me. These videos take me quite a while to make. Thanks.